Hi guys, Barry here and coming from the polytunnel on a cold Sunday afternoon. We're expecting a cold snap that's going to last a week or so. So I was just out cutting some firewood, and it just kind of got me thinking, about the permaculture principles and how important they are in my life. And I said I'd make a video mostly based on the third permaculture principle, which is getting a yield. And I just spent a couple of hours there felling some firewood, some rotten trees that were in the hedgerow, and I'm going to use them now to heat the house over the next couple of weeks. So it just had me thinking about getting a yield and how we get different yields, using the principles of permaculture and the thinking around getting a yield and what it even means to get a yield. So I remember back when I done my permaculture design course in 2013, it was probably the easiest one to understand. Like, get a yield, what does that mean? That means go to your garden, grow some vegetables, and harvest them and eat them. But as we go on, I came to understand there's a lot more to this principle than just getting something immediately in your hand, like growing vegetables and eating it. Like, there's so much more to it. Like, for example, like, it could be increasing a yield. Like, so down here, I'm just taking this context for example. I've been here since September. We haven't really gotten a yield per se from anything, like any of the stuff we've grown here, but we've got some amazing yields, and one thing that's not really a tangible thing that we've gotten is a lot of learning. I had very little experience with keeping hens before, but after 4 months now of keeping hens, 3 to 4 months of keeping hens, I know an awful lot. Well, like, I know a lot more than I had about chickens than I did prior to that. So that knowledge is a great yield to have. And yields can also be time-saving yields, like your time. So how have I, like, going back to the chickens now, how have I gained a yield from saving time in regards to the chickens? Like, when we fitted our chicken door, I'm after gaining a yield of being able to stay in bed another hour in the morning if I want to or not, and like coming home in the evening, like, to lock in the chickens, I don't have to rush back, if I because where we have this garden here, this is belong to Yvonne's family, so I have an apartment also in town, so I don't have to rush back here. If we want to stay in town, we can stay in town. We don't have to come back to leave the chickens in. So that's just another way of gaining a yield. It's saving us time. But things that we have gotten yields, like, as well as, like, creating our own compost. The compost here, like, that's not a direct yield. Yes, we don't have to buy in any compost, but when we put that on the soil and the veg grows, we've got more nutritious, more abundant vegetables growing here. So that's gaining a yield in the long run. And another big thing, just like what got me thinking about this today, was the firewood. Like, we have a coal fire in the house. We used, like, when we come down here and we stay here, we used to buy coal. It's about, I think it's like €13 a bag if you buy a bag of coal. And what we have around here is we've got a lot of old dead trees. So by cutting them down and cutting them into firewood, we don't have to buy coal. So that's another yield. And since we've gotten the chickens as well, we haven't, like, we eat approximately four eggs a day, maybe 5 eggs a day. That's nearly 30 eggs a week, just there alone. Like, the yield we've gotten, like 30 eggs, organic eggs, could cost us about €7, €8 here. So we're saving money getting yields in other ways. So going back to my own apartment, I live in town and have done for maybe 4 or 5 years, and being passionate about horticulture, when you live in an apartment and you don't have a garden, you're very limited with what you can grow and what you can do. But I was blessed. I had 3 south-facing windows in my apartment. So I had 3 great growing spaces that I could grow. Like, I've grown tomatoes, I've grown all my herbs, I've grown lots of salad, all on the windows in the apartment. But to maximize that, like using the principles of permaculture and trying to think outside the box, what I decided to do is, the windows were nearly, I think they're nearly 6 foot tall. So it was an old Georgian townhouse. So I was able to get some plywood and I was able to shelve across the windows. So going from 3 growing spaces, I was able to multiply that using the principles of permaculture and a bit of design to create the 3 growing spaces into nearly 15 growing spaces. So using that, I was really able to maximize my yield and get a lot more of a yield from this area, which is absolutely fantastic. So I'd love to know how people are getting yields and what you're doing at the moment, and how you could think outside the box to get more from your space or more from what you do, you know. So if you are getting a yield and it's a non-tangible one or it is a tangible one, just post it in the comments. I'd love to share a bit of information or hear about what people are doing. It'd be fantastic, you know. And there's so many great resources out there on the principles of permaculture, you know. I'm just the tip of the iceberg with some of the stuff I'm after saying here now today, but it's absolutely fantastic stuff, you know. There's 12 principles and each one of them are absolutely amazing. If you can apply them to your garden or apply them to your entire life, it would really make a difference, you know. So thanks for watching the video now today, guys, and I'll talk to you again soon. Again, there's a lot going on here now in the garden as it is February, so I'm doing a lot of planting seedlings and getting the final touches ready for the growing season. So expect another few videos coming shortly. Thanks very much and enjoy the rest of your week. See ya, bye.